What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. Gonna make this short and sweet, man. I got a glare on my phone. My phone about to go dead, so I'm gonna make this short and sweet, man. Gonna talk about the negotiations going on between unified champion Canelo Alvarez and IBF super middleweight champion Canelo-Plant. Now Eddie Hearn is doing Eddie Hearn type of things once again. He's attempting to sabotage another big fight, just like he did with the AJ Wilder fight. He was on the DAZN show. That's a podcast, I guess. You know, they probably put it on doesnt.com. And it was Akbar and whatever the other guy name is, Akbar, whatever the name is. I don't watch them, but he was on there. And he basically insinuated that PBC want Canelo Alvarez to sign a 3-fight deal. And that Canelo Alvarez, all the purpose of him leaving Golden Boy Promotion was to become a network free agent where he could kind of work with different entities, different promoters, and won't be tied into a promoter. Never mind the fact that he just got out of a 2-fight deal with Matchroom Boxing and Eddie Hearn. But he don't want to tell you that, man. He's trying to paint a picture. He's trying to portray and make it look like the PBC is the one that's responsible when this fight don't happen. And make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, the fight ain't happening. I told you that in a previous video, the fight wasn't happening. I saw the handwriting on the wall. I know Eddie Hearn. I know what he likes to do. He don't want to work with the PBC. He want to keep Canelo Alvarez on the zone. All of those saying, oh, we don't have no problem with taking Canelo Alvarez to Fox and putting them on Fox pay-per-view. Man, ain't nothing but a bunch of BS, a bunch of malarkey, a crock of shit. That's all it is. Excuse my language, ladies and gentlemen. He did the same thing with the AJ Wilder negotiations. He didn't want that fight to happen. Let me tell you something. If Eddie Hearn want a fight to happen, he gonna make a fight happen. Just like he wanted AJ and Parker to happen because he wanted to get that belt so AJ could become unified heavyweight champion. Yeah, he gonna move heaven and earth if he wants the fight to happen to make it happen. Look how he did with the AJ Fury negotiation. He flew all around the world. I don't know how much jet fuel he used flying from the UK to Saudi Arabia, trying to coerce them people into putting up a huge sum of money, a huge site fee for the biggest fight in boxing history. AJ versus Tyson Fury, which was a lie in its own right. It wasn't the biggest fight in boxing history. You ever heard of Ali Frazier 1? Ain't nothing gonna top that ever. No bigger fight than that. In the ring and outside the ring, what that fight meant. So don't even try. That's the biggest fight in UK history. I give you that, Eddie. There ain't no damn biggest fight in the history of boxing. You must be out your rabbit ass mind, Eddie Hearn. Look here, man. Eddie Hearn is sabotaging this fight, ladies and gentlemen. Because the PBC just released a statement through ESPN Knockout and said they'd be more than happy to do a 1-fight deal with Canelo Alvarez. They'll be more than happy to do a one-off with Canelo Alvarez versus Canelo-Plant. Winner take all type of situation. They'd be more than happy to do that. Now, I do believe the PBC want that fight on Fox. They want that fight to be on Fox pay-per-view for selfish reasons and for monetary reason. You don't want to put a cap on this fight. Why would you want to put a cap on this fight? The zone is going to be guaranteed money. The guarantee is going to be more, but the upside is going to be more on Fox pay-per-view. That fight going to sell. You got I ain't going to say you're a great white hope, but, you know, basically he is a great white hope. You know, 2021 version of a great white hope. You got a lot of people out here, a great white hope, they're more hip. They got more charisma. They're more influenced by the hip-hop culture. More of these young white guys that's come along, you know, especially they come along in from different parts of the country. Let me just put it to you like that. You know, he's coming from Nashville, Tennessee. You know, that's known for country music, right? But here recently, they've had a lot of stars come out of Nashville, Tennessee that's not, you know, affiliated with the country music. So, with that being said, Canelo-Plant is a guy that you can sell. He's got good charisma. He's gonna talk trash. He's gonna promote the fight. To me, he's more like the super middleweight version of Keith Thurman. This kind of like reminds me of the Keith Thurman Manny Pacquiao fight. That fight did what, 600,000 pay-per-view buys. That's the most that Manny Pacquiao had done in some years. He had done some pay-per-view buys with Timothy Bradley and a couple other people, Jesse Vargas, but they didn't sell as much as the fight sold with him and Keith One-Time Thurman. And I think that'll be the case with Keith One-Time Thurman. Man, that'll be the case with Caleb Sweet Hand Plant, and Canelo Alvarez. I think that'll be the case with them. I think he'll sell a fight, and I think Canelo Alvarez, it's been speculated, I don't know if that's true, I don't know if that's some lies that Eddie Hearn is leaking, but it's been speculated that Canelo Alvarez don't want to do another pay-per-view. He like the guaranteed money. He'd rather go with the guaranteed money, the sure thing. A bird in the hand beats two in the bush. That's how it goes, right? That's what he said Canelo Alvarez is thinking. That's his line of thinking. That ain't his line of thinking. That's Eddie Hearn's line of thinking that he's portraying to the people. He always want to talk for his fight, just like he always want to talk for Anthony Joshua. Let Anthony Joshua talk for Anthony Joshua, and let Canelo Alvarez talk for Canelo Alvarez. That's the problem. Eddie Hearn always out here, always in the video. Remember, I told you he the Puff Daddy of boxing promoter. Always in the video. God damn, man, put some boxing gloves on if you want to get in the ring. You want to be a fighter. You talk like a fighter. You talking like, you know, from the perspective of a fighter. And your fighters that's up under you, your top two fighters, Anthony Joshua and Canelo Alvarez, you don't hear from them. All you hear is what Eddie's saying. What Eddie said that Canelo's saying. Let me hear Canelo say that. What Eddie's saying, AJ saying. Just like they asked Eddie Hearn about if Deontay Wilder defeat Tyson Fury in the trilogy, keep that same energy. Would you be willing to give Wilder 50-50 like you was willing to give Tyson Fury 50-50? He said, oh, you know, I have to talk to AJ, but I guess so. I think it'll be no problem. You know, we looking at the belt. We don't really care about who holding the belt. We just want to be undisputed. You know, talking like that, like he got to talk to AJ. No, good damn well, you running the show. AJ ain't gonna listen to what y'all say. Just like y'all made him turn down that $50 million deal that Wilder sent to him, Team Wilder sent to him with a 50-50 pay-per-view split. And y'all made him turn down, you and your daddy, Barry Hearn, a.k.a. Papa Hearn. Eddie, you know, you trying to make it look like AJ is some shot call. He calling the shots. When has AJ ever said, I want to fight this person and the fight got made? It's always Eddie Hearn setting the fight up. He trying to attempt to do the same thing with Canelo Alvarez. With all that being said, look for Canelo Alvarez to fight either Triple G or Dimitri Bivol. That's going to be the next fight, September 18th. It's going to be on DAZN because that's what Eddie wants. Eddie don't want to take Canelo to Fox pay-per-view. He wants to keep Canelo over there on DAZN. So miss me with what Eddie said earlier, shortly after Canelo Alvarez defeated Billy Joe Saunders, talking about, you know, we're going to negotiate with the PBC and Al Heyman, and we're going to present an offer, you know, for the fight to be on DAZN. I'm sure the Fox is going to send an offer for the fight to be on Fox, and we'll just look at the best deal, and whatever the best deal for, we'll go with that route. We'll go that route. You know, we're going to go with the best deal. We ain't trying to hold up no fight. We ain't trying to stop no fight. It shouldn't be no egos involved. It should be, let's make undisputed. That's basically what Eddie Hearn said. And like I said, it was just nothing but propaganda. Eddie Hearn had in his mind all along, like, I'll be damned if I let Canelo Alvarez go with the PBC and fight on Fox pay-per-view. If I have anything to do with it, he finna stay right over here on DAZN, because I want DAZN to make it in the United States. Because that's what I laid my claim to when I got that $1 billion deal when I first joined in with DAZN. I said I was gonna make it big. I was gonna come over here and get a lot of the top fighters, in particular a lot of the top fighters under the PBC. It didn't happen. DAZN has had some success, but it's still not the top entity here in the United States. The top entity here in the United States is, look at the pay-per-view numbers, or look at the only people that's doing pay-per-views in the United States. That's the PBC and Al Heyman, doing pay-per-views with Gervonta Tank Davis, doing pay-per-views with Errol Spence Jr. When the last time Bob Arum and Top Rank Boxing have done a pay-per-view? I'll wait. Been a long time. It's been a long, long time coming. It's been a long time. Been a long time. I'm trying to think when the last time they did a pay-per-view. Oh yeah, it was old Terrence Bud Crawford. That's why they ain't been doing no pay-per-view lately, because that one he did with Amir Khan was a flop, according to the Bob father. He said he lost money in that fight. He was in the red on that fight. That would happen when you pay, I think he paid Terrence Crawford $5.5 million for that fight, and I think he paid Amir Khan around 4.5, somewhere around 4.5 to 5 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. That's what he paid both fighters, and the fight did 150,000 pay-per-view buys. So they lost money on that fight. Paid them two fighters way too much money. Should have lowered the guaranteed minimum, and then based on what they was gonna get off the pay-per-view buys, they should have gave Crawford $2 million and maybe Amir Khan $1 million, and then give Crawford 60% of the pay-per-view sales and give Amir Khan 40% of the pay-per-view sales. Or you could have just did it like this. Let Terrence Crawford get all of the U.S. pay-per-view buys and let Amir Khan get all of the UK pay-per-view buys. And that's how you could have really did it like that, really. Or you're going to win 60-40 if you want. You say, well, people know Terrence in the UK and people know Amir Khan in the United States. Let them both get some of that money outside of their homeland. You could have did it like that. Well, if that's the case, you could have did 60% Terrence Crawford because he was a champion, 40% Amir Khan. But you didn't want to do that. You guaranteed them a lot of money off the rip, and that's how you lost money, Bob Arum. That's neither here nor there, but the bottom line is, because my phone is about to go dead, Eddie Hearn is doing Eddie Hearn type of things. Didn't want to fight, never did want to fight. What number propaganda from the get-go. What number propaganda from the get-go. Never wanted to fight. So it is what it is. Another big fight that's not happening at the hands of Eddie Hearn. You got people that love Eddie Hearn gonna say the PBC is holding it up because they got an agenda against the PBC, but just look at the facts. The PBC has worked with Top Rank and Bob Arum for major fights. Tyson Fury, Wilder 2. So all of a sudden they can't work with another boxing entity in Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing. All of a sudden they're gonna have problems working with him. So that's the problem I had with the whole Deontay Wilder, AJ, and Tyson Fury equation. AJ ain't fought Wilder and AJ ain't fought Fury. But here it is, Fury and Wilder are going on their third fight probably in October. So why is that? Why is PBC able to work with Top Rank, but PBC can't come to agreement with Matchroom Boxing when you talk about the top heavyweights? Why Top Rank and ESPN couldn't come to agreement with Matchroom Boxing when for Fury and AJ? Why that fight didn't never get happen? I know the arbitrator ruled in Deontay Wilder's favor. What was taking so long anyway? You allowed the arbitrator to come through the back door and rule and stop that fight because you didn't have a deal done in time. You was dragging it along, kept telling everybody that the fight was close. But when it was all said and done, the fight never was close because both parties never agreed to the terms of the contract, unlike what you said in several interviews that everybody had agreed to the terms of the contract, and it was just going over with the lawyers. All that line and all that propaganda, just look at the end results. And you ask me who to blame in this situation. It's easy to see. You just need to take your blinders off. Take your Eddie Hearn rose-colored glasses off and look at what's real and look at the facts. And it's one prevalent party that's always involved in this big fights not happening, and that's Eddie Hearn. AJ Wilder didn't happen, and now Canelo-Plant ain't happening. And it's one central figure in the mix of both of these situations, and that's Eddie Hearn, aka Eddie the Con Artist. Let me know your thoughts about Canelo and Plant not happening, and let me know your thoughts about Canelo versus Bivol or Canelo versus Triple G. I'd much rather see Canelo versus Bivol, even though Triple G does have a case, because you look at the two fights, I thought he won the first fight. The second fight I had a draw, but if I had to give it to somebody, I definitely would have gave it to Canelo Alvarez because he landed the more damaging shots, but it was a very close second fight. But Triple G definitely won the first fight. So based on them two fights, Triple G does have a case for a third fight, but based on Triple G's last couple of fights and based on Canelo Alvarez approving since he had those two fights with Triple G, I just think it's not a close fight at all. I think Canelo Alvarez dominates and probably stops Triple G. If he don't stop Triple G, he wins that fight maybe 10 rounds to 2, 9 rounds to 3. It's a clear victory for Canelo Alvarez. I don't think those fighters are close at this point like they was when they fought, several years back. So that's what I think about that. I think Bivol ain't been active enough. He fight one speed. So I think Canelo Alvarez will take him a couple rounds to figure him out to get adjusted to that one speed. And I think Canelo Alvarez will start to break him down. And I think he will beat Bivol. Bivol just ain't been active enough, and he ain't been in there with the caliber of fighters to get him ready for a fighter of the caliber of Canelo Alvarez. But I still want to rather see that fight because I want to see something new. I want to see what he deal with a guy that's very skilled, a guy that's very technical, a guy with a high boxing skill. Now, he don't have a high boxing IQ because he don't make great adjustments in the fight. I remember when he fought James Pascal. He should have stopped James Pascal, but he seemed like he couldn't put his foot on the gas and close the show. He was able to beat Pascal, but Pascal had his moments in that fight. It didn't go like I thought it was. That was supposed to be a showcase fight for Dimitri Bivol, and he failed to impress. So he's a good fighter, man. So I still much rather see that than Triple G, but Triple G probably is going to be a bigger fight and probably will bring more subscriptions to the zone than a fight between Canelo Alvarez and Dimitri Bivol. So let me know your thoughts. And hit the like button if you like the content of this video. And subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.